Hey, you guys, happy Tuesday. I wanted to come in here and get right into the devotional, but also deliver a message that I feel the Holy Spirit wants me to give to you guys. I am pretty tired. I'm back to the graveyard grind and it's tough. So, my Mondays are always hard because I'm on regular sleep on my days off and then I have to kind of adjust. So sometimes it's just hard to get back into the swing of things, but nevertheless, so beyond grateful. I have a job. that's a job. I hear you. He says a job and a calling, and the calling alone, I'm sure a lot of you can agree, could keep me busy and exhausted all day, every day. That's why I hear you. Rest is so crucial. So that being said, that might be a word for someone. Make sure you're resting if the Lord has called you into rest. So if you follow me, then you know that I have been talking about how the Holy Spirit is expanding my territory in regards to, especially as my book gets closer and closer to being released. And I've spoken as much as the Lord allows me to about what this first book will be about, which is mostly my husband Matthew, his sickness, and then death. And then, of course, as further books are released and my story continues to be written, those books will reveal that. And there's a timing for everything. And so anybody else that has a problem with that, whether it's with my story or testimony or yours, that's the Father will do with that. You are to stay obedient to your Father, because for us to, and I've talked about this recently, for us to get ahead of him, let me tell you something. When my husband died, that is what led me to the most tragic, it's almost what took my faith out. It really is, because I was literally, I had a wound so deep that I knew my Father had spoken something to me. And you'll read about how he's worked that out beautifully, truly, when the second book and the third book are released, because something he spoke to me when my husband was sick and then when he died left me with a wound of, well, I guess I don't hear God. I guess I didn't hear what you said, or I just wasn't there. I didn't even know I had a prophetic mantle at that point, but I knew I heard God. Well, I did hear God. I did. He just wasn't done speaking, and it's going to blow the world away when all of these books come out, I promise. But that being said, the reason I'm touching on it is because he's called me in my ministry right now to speak more to a lot of you who have that deferred hope, who the enemy is getting into that wound and you're kind of just exhausted. I hear you. He says, don't use the word kinda. Ashley, my people are exhausted. Yes, they are. You're at the end of yourselves. I'm hearing him say. And he's saying, don't ever fear when you're at the end of yourselves, because he is there. That's where he's at the end of yourself. And I'm also hearing him say he meets you where you are, and he's at where the end of yourself is. Okay, so that's good news. It's good news, because where we end, everything about him begins, and he is the Alpha and the Omega. Okay, he sees the ending. But he wanted me to talk about how he's telling me that, and because this is for me too, a lot of my people are just exhausted. They feel like, I keep repeating to them that this is the season they're in, this is what to expect, and it is, you guys. And sometimes he's doing that though to sustain us, because if he knows us, we're fickle. And if he doesn't find a way, he's not lying, he's sustaining. There's a difference. So you just have to keep walking in faith and trusting that our Father knows how to sustain, and then how to answer that prayer when the appointed time comes. That journey that you allow him to do, which includes a work in you, you will have not only the promise in his perfect timing, but the peace that surpasses what it took to get there. Wow. You will not only have the promise, but you will also arrive there with the peace that he allowed you to walk out to get there. That really is the greatest part of the promise, is how you can come out on the other side when the promise arrives with a peace, knowing that everything he spoke, he was faithful to, truly. So that 11th hour faith he's asking of us, where he knows that he's asking us to trust him even up to the very last minute. Well, he did this with his closest friends too, Mary and Martha, with Lazarus. Okay, would we expect him to expect any less of us in our faith with him, no matter how hard it is? The harder the journey, the bigger the mantle, the bigger the calling, the bigger the blessing, truly. Okay, burdens come along with that though. So this is a great devotional. It's going to encourage you. But he said, I know what my people are going to do when you read this. They're going to roll their eyes. They're going to laugh like Sarah did when the Lord told her you're going to have a child at her age. But he's telling me that there is a lot of people, he gave me this specific way to describe it, they have a shoe dropping syndrome, and I have this too, and he's working on this in me. They're always scared the other shoe is going to drop. And I've done a prophetic word on this way back in the day, in the beginning of my ministry, but he's bringing it back full circle, which he tends to do in the seasons before his promise arrives. But he's saying a lot of my people aren't going to receive this devotional with encouragement because they're exhausted, they're weary, they don't believe me anymore. They love me, but they are just like, it is what it is, Lord. He doesn't want us to have that faith. He wants us to be expectant again. He says he knows that we have the other shoe is going to drop syndrome, meaning I'm scared to trust anything that feels like it's good or looks like it's coming because I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. He wants me to specify, and I get that. My shoe dropping is in an urn in my office, my husband's death. But so many things happened that I can't deny after that I know that when one shoe drops, like Cinderella, he's waiting there to find that other shoe. And that might be a confirmation for someone. The Lord is waiting to find your shoe, male or female, and give it back to you. So if I hear you, if a shoe drops, he promises he's going to find his way back to give it back to you. I love that. That's for someone, for sure. The shoe dropping syndrome, he knows, is deferred hope. He wants you to listen to this devotional and be expectant, okay? And he's saying, he showed me this plate too, and it says, I can't. And it's a funny thing between him and I, because I often say to things that are really funny, I always say the phrase, I can't, meaning like, it's too much, it's too funny for me. And people who know me will tell you that. But he's saying, he wants us to get to a place of surrender where we say that it's it, I can't, I don't have any more, I have nothing. And he's saying that's fantastic because when you can't, I can. Is what he's saying. Okay, so I have a few prophetic words that are going to come out soon too. I'm still working on it, but let me deliver this devotional. He wants you to have the posture, not the posture of the other shoe is going to drop syndrome. I'm hearing you. The deferred hope posture. He knows everybody's weary, but please listen to this devotional. He says, these seasons are upon us. These manifestation seasons are upon us, guys. Sorry, I have some text coming in. And he doesn't want you to receive this and roll your eyes or laugh like Sarah. He is trying to say that, oh my gosh, the other shoe is going to drop. I don't trust this season. Posture, he doesn't want that for you as you listen to this devotional, to believe again, okay? So he is saying, it is time for your giants to fall. Get ready to be undone. And that scared me at first when I read it, because I'm like, oh Lord, no, please, I've been undone enough. Like, because undone to me means basically, crash out. And I'm like, no more. But listen to this. This is great. Get ready to be undone, completely and totally undone. Remember, he doesn't want that. This is just me speaking for him right now. He doesn't want you to think that the other shoe is always going to drop. And if it drops, he's saying he'll pick it up and bring it back to you, just like the prince did to Cinderella. And this could go for his sons or daughters, okay? So get ready to be undone, completely and totally undone. Wrecked by my outrageous love that is being released in your life. Wrecked, guys. That's a powerful word. And he's saying this in a good way. You're going to be wrecked by my outrageous love that is being released in your life. You will be amazed by what I'm about to do for you. It's time for your giants to fall. I have heard your prayers. I have seen your tears. I have watched as you stood on shaking legs that felt like they couldn't take another step. And this is that the other shoe is going to drop faith, that he says he knows everybody's losing and they're weary and they're losing faith. He says, don't do that, okay? Though the enemy works to steal, kill, and destroy, my glory has made you strong. It is time for you to see what I can do. It's time for you to cross the threshold of opposition and step into the joy of breakthrough. Now is the time to be fully and joyfully expectant, to allow yourself to be filled with anticipation. So he's saying, don't just picture that shoe like on Cinderella on the staircase left behind. You have not, I'm hearing him say, we have not been left behind. Be expectant. It's time to be confident, not because I do everything the way you think I will, but because you trust me to do the things my way. Isaiah 55. Don't try to think you know how he's going to do it. Just trust that he's going to do it, he's saying. Anchor yourself in my promises, and soon you'll see the fruit of what I've already put into action behind the scenes. So I'm hearing him say it was a dress rehearsal. You were being pruned and prepared. Everything behind the scenes is about to be on stage, he's saying. I'm hearing him say, you will be astounded at the victory I'm releasing and pleasantly bewildered by the way I bring these things to pass. Remember, he wants to surprise us as well by the way he does it. How do we know this? Isaiah 55. Your ways are not, I hear you, your ways are not our ways. Meaning, if he shows up in a way that we know he's going to show up, except faithful. That's the only thing we can count on with him, is that he will be faithful, that he doesn't get to surprise us. And doesn't our Father deserve to surprise us? Okay, when I had nothing, desperate and defeated, I cried out to the Lord, and he heard me, bringing his miracle deliverance when I needed it most. The angel of the Lord stooped down to listen as I prayed, encircling me, empowering me, and showing me how to escape. He will do this for everyone who fears God. That's Psalm 34. Get into Psalm 34. I hope this blessed you guys.